Hello, welcome to my diary. I'm Tatami. Here we talk about whatever I want to, and today I want to discuss the idea that America has been justifying our overuse of resources and our overuse of the planet as necessary for XYZ reasons. But during the time of chaos, we can't even get up with like swabs on a stick. You know what I'm saying? We can't even get up with little face masks. We can't get up with the resources people actually need when people fucking actually need them, not just want them, but need them. And so it begs to question, what's it all been about, right? If it's not been about having a society where things are on the beck and call, you know what I'm saying? Things that are necessary as well as things that are frivolous, then what's it all been about? And so it makes you think like, okay, so it wasn't really about having this advanced society in which people were able to have, in which you get to get in people's faces and be like, oh, well, you have all these things. You have all these things because of your society, when in fact, it was not organized this way. There is no organization. It has always been every man for himself, building up his company how he saw fit, providing whatever item he saw fit, filling in the cracks however he saw fit. And it didn't have anything to do with what people actually needed. It was just about getting where you fit in so you can get a profit, so you could make something for yourself. It wasn't ever about expanding humanity. It wasn't ever about pushing humanity forward. And so when I think about that, it just makes me think, okay, so it wasn't worth it, all the stuff that happened to the planet. It wasn't worth it to chase down all the people with nature-based religions, call them witches, burn them at stake, call them pagans, systematically kick them out of their communities and ostracize them for their knowledge. Because at the end of the day, it was never actually, there was no advancement for any of that. In fact, you hindered us. You hindered your communities by detaching people from nature, making them think that, in fact, all they had to do was just get these items, was just have a society that could produce random shit at their whim. And they thought that this was a sense of security. The fact that they could wake up in the middle of the night and want a random item, be it frivolous or necessary, and get it. But what they didn't understand was that this was not built on anything. This is not built on any kind of foundation. It's not built on any kind of logic. Is not built on any kind of sustainable practice that could continue on, because the second one part of the chain is broken, you can no longer get access to those items. The second we break down the fact that you are now in contact with another culture, not a culture, another country who now has complete control over your city, your resources, how you get certain items, you're now shit out of luck if you're not the person directly in with special favors with certain people in other countries. And so I was just thinking about this crazy disconnect we have, in which we believe we're in this wealthy society, but in fact, we're subject to the whims of the wealthy in this society, what they want to produce, how they want to produce it. Because at the end of the day, we have companies who could be stepping up during the pandemic crisis, but in their minds, okay, let's say they step up and they're the hero right now. There's no guarantee 6 months from now, when they have a building that's capable of making something that's now obsolete because the crisis is over, that they'll get any kind of repercussion, that they won't be stuck with this building just because they tried to help people, because there is no system in place trying to make sure these resources go to making sure Americans have the best quality of life possible. It's not about us having the best quality of life possible. It's not about raising humanity up to a higher level of living, a higher standard of being. It's just about get one while you can, get what you can while you can, and fuck everybody else. And I think it's just so clearly obvious that it was always this way, more now than ever. And it's also so clearly heartbreaking, because you can't help but mourn the loss of the land, the loss of so many resources, the wasting of so many materials, while we were busy living in this society, in this mindset of, oh, the surplus is necessary. Us having all this extra shit is necessary. Us using 1.5 Earths each as Americans, 5 Earths each as Americans is necessary because XYZ, when in fact we realized that was never the case. Now you're in dire need of a lot of things and you can't get your hands on them. Now the nurses and the doctors are in dire need of things and they can't get their hands on them. And the response to shift the way we operate has been so slow because there's no benefit to people and because that's not how it's used to operating, in favor of making things actually better, of using the planet in a way that's sustainable and healthy, of all these things. It's always just been about profit, 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 use what you have to, and make sure that the expenses as much as possible get put on the consumer, get put on the planet, get put on everything else besides actually taking it and paying for it yourself. So that's what's been on my mind lately. The earth, the planet, sustainability and our impact on it, and if it's really been worth it, how people have been touting my entire life and long before then. May your ancestors and spirit guides be with you at every crossroads, and I will see you next video.